When ranking players based on how loved or hated they are, it comes down to how former players and the fans see them. Is their public persona something that is charming, agreeable, warm? Or are the bad boys out to make a scene, speaking in ways that leave fans appalled or disappointed? These are players that became larger than life, sometimes for the best reasons and sometimes for the worst reasons. Today, we're going to take a look at the NBA's most loved and hated current athletes, ranked, and you're not going to want to miss who's made the list. Before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball was hated by fans and league members alike before ever stepping foot on the court as an NBA player. The dislike for Lonzo goes back to his draft when his father LeVar Ball spoke up in a campaign for his son. It was brazen, full of ego, and while Lonzo said nothing until after he had a few games under his belt, his father essentially ruined his reputation for him. He did end up drafted by the Lakers, but his public presence never really evened out. He was even held down under the weight of his father's brazen need to sell his skills when he was just 20 years old, boosting him up without giving him any room to speak for himself. Boban Marjanovic. Standing at 7 foot and 4 inches tall, Boban is a gentle giant. He reminds a lot of fans of Shaq, being goofy and towering. He has an easygoing personality, and it's not hard to figure out why everyone loves him. He doesn't take himself too seriously, remembering to have fun. It makes him on the court a joy for anyone watching. It doesn't hurt that he can dunk a ball without having to jump thanks to that height he has over everyone else, something that impresses anyone watching, leading to him having an overall positive view by his fellow league members and fans alike. James Harden. Our next most hated NBA player is James Harden. He isn't hated for his personality, even if that personality does earn him a lot of eye rolls and sighs. It's a problem with his gameplay. James is well known for not sharing very well. He's seen as selfish, since he rarely lets others out on the floor to control the offense with him. The behavior has led to blow-ups with teammates, specifically known blow-ups with Chris Paul. James is known as a stat padder when he's on the floor, although it's been pointed out many times that his postseason success isn't really anything to be desired. He made it on our ranked list today because he's just not a team player, and when it comes to the NBA, being a team player makes all the difference. Alex Caruso. There are a few aspects that make Alex Caruso so well received among NBA fans and league members alike. He works in a massive market, being part of the Lakers team. Los Angeles gives him plenty of social media reach. His hops left many players on posters that fans could not get enough of. He played alongside LeBron James, and that alone brought him plenty of attention. However, he also proved himself to be an effective player, blossoming on his own as an excellent defender. He's someone that has really come into himself as he's grown more seasoned, learning his role and playing it well to help the Lakers win games. This dedication and skill has earned him a place among the NBA's most well-loved players today. DeMarcus Cousins. Cousins has been known for having an attitude since back in 2010 when he was first drafted. In fact, it's so deeply ingrained in his personality that the Sacramento Kings ended up finding it necessary to give him up. From there, it's been a lot of teams hesitating despite the fact that he's a 4-time All-Star. The attitude that he has leaves him a risk for those willing to take him on, and it turns off a lot of fans as well. It would seem that there is a hope that with this rising age comes some maturity, but that's left to be determined. Maybe he'll finally find a good place to land and shine before too much longer. For now, though, he isn't well received by many despite his serious talent. Jimmy Butler. The thing about Jimmy Butler is that he's the underdog. He's the type of person that shouldn't be where he is right now. He was a raw forward that had no offensive game when he first came into the league. However, with effort and hard work, he's become the franchise player for the Miami Heat. He's max paid and the very definition of NBA All-Star. It seems when it comes to a good underdog story, everyone is in his corner while he shines for his incredible skill on the court. Paul George. Paul George got himself on this ranked list around the 2019-2020 season with the LA Clippers. The nickname that he had earned, Playoff P, was already losing its shine at this point, and that being made even more clear during this particular season when the Denver Nuggets knocked the Clippers out of the playoffs. However, what really ended up solidifying him as one of the most hated players in the NBA was his lack of sportsmanship. Paul taunted Damian Lillard during a matchup in the Disney bubble, and it was Lillard that was quick to point out that George liked to switch teams when things got hard. It was George who ironically went to social media to plead all his cases. All the while, fans were left frowning, shaking their head and wondering if his time in LA was finally up, considering his poor performances up until this point. Zion Williamson. While we have Paul George proving to have a bad attitude and declining playing style, let's move on to someone that has a more positive influence within the NBA. With a baby face and a humble attitude both on and off the court, it's not hard to guess what fans love about Zion. It doesn't hurt that he is good at what he does. Having a 26.8 point per game average and 7.1 rebounds per game, the ability to exceed expectations early on is something that really drove fans to love him. He's currently playing in a far similar market while he's cultivating himself, but with the rate that he's growing and mastering his role in all of this, the more that a larger market will draw him in, and probably serve him well as fans find themselves cheering for another one of those special underdogs. Kevin Durant. The last hated NBA player we're going to talk about is Kevin Durant. He takes the top in rank of most hated within the NBA after being branded a traitor. He was with the Oklahoma City Thunder before leaving for the Warriors. The move for his career was seen as traitorous since shortly before switching teams, the Warriors had knocked the Thunder out of the playoffs. This was not the only thing about Kevin Durant that proves to be a problem for fans and league members alike. There is also his need to argue. He has a bad habit of getting into debates and arguments with fans and ex-teammates online, leaving a sour taste in everyone's mouth. He is seen as cocky and rude, and with his unruly and immature personality, it's unlikely that he'll be able to recover from the bad name he's made for himself. It solidifies him as the most hated NBA player to date. Luka Doncic. Now that we've talked about the most hated player in the NBA, let's talk about the most loved. Luka Doncic is currently one of the most loved NBA players ranked. There is nothing about him that fans don't love at this point. He's a foreign player that is making waves in a sport dominated by North Americans. Already making MVP in his very short time in the league, a player that is highly respected by other league members for his talent and skill. Fans are equally drawn to Luka because of his natural smiling disposition. He enjoys what he's doing, and this all comes so naturally to Luka. On the court, he is a joy to watch, and fans love that he has a goofy personality. He is easy to love, and everyone is watching him with anticipation to see where his career in the NBA is going to take him. These are just some of the highest ranked from hated to loved within the NBA right now. Of course, we all know that everyone has an opinion when it comes to favorites, but it seems that when it comes to the guys we've just talked about, it doesn't matter what team you cheer for. You know them, and you either love them or you hate them. Isn't it great how some people just know how to bring strangers together? With that, we wrap up for today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.